In Korea, Ipchun is a traditional season that marks the beginning of spring, which falls on February 4 or 5 of the solar calendar every year. It is a significant time to say goodbye to winter and welcome spring, symbolizing a new beginning with the resuscitation of nature. Ipchun has a special cultural significance. In the past in Korea, there was a custom of attaching the inscription Ipchundegil to the door on the occasion of this day. This is a tradition that originated from the wish that the family will be filled with only good things throughout the year, delivering a message of positive energy and hope. Scientifically, it corresponds to the time when the days in the northern hemisphere start to get longer and longer due to changes in Earth's longitude. This marks a seasonal change in which the temperature naturally begins to rise and life begins to awaken from its hibernation and regain its vitality. Usu, one of Korea's traditional seasons, means the period from winter to spring, usually around February 19 or 20 in the solar calendar. This day literally means rain to wet the ground. Usu symbolizes the point when the cold energy of winter gradually disappears, and when it begins to rain to announce spring, everything begins to come to life. After rainwater, the temperature gradually rises and the snow melts and the land begins to become humid. This signals to farmers that it is time to start preparing for farming, and the work of plowing the land that was frozen during the winter and preparing the seeds is done. Scientifically, Usu can feel the length of the day lengthening as the Earth orbits the sun, causing the northern hemisphere to gradually begin to warm up due to changes in longitude. These changes in nature bring ecosystems to life, where hibernating animals wake up and plants start to sprout. Gyeongchip, one of Korea's traditional seasons, is an important day to mark the time when spring is just around the corner. The day, which falls on or around March 5th or 6th of the solar calendar every year, is considered the time when hibernating animals start to wake up. The name Gyeongchip itself means surprising the bugs who wake up from their winter sleep, marking the beginning point of nature's regeneration. Koreans in Gyeongchip have a custom of eating special food to pray for their health. A typical example is eating mugwort soup, which is one of the first fragrant grasses that appear in spring and is believed to help warm the body and remove accumulated waste during the winter. In the northern hemisphere, light chips are becoming longer during the day, the temperature gradually rises, and nature begins to come alive. Changes in this period of time act as a signal for hibernating animals to begin their activities, plants to sprout and prepare for spring. Chunbun, the spring equinox, marks a moment of perfect balance in the Korean calendar, where day and night are of equal length. Occurring around March 20th or 21st each year, this day signifies the heart of spring, awakening nature from its winter slumber to welcome new life. This period heralds the return of warmth and the rebirth of everything in nature. Chunbun is not just about blossoming flowers and awakening animals from hibernation. It's a time when the vitality of nature overflows, signaling the true start of spring. The spring equinox is accompanied by traditional customs that honor ancestors and strengthen family bonds. In Korea, visiting ancestral graves and tidying them up, known as Beolcho, is a way to show respect for ancestors. This act symbolizes clearing away the old to make room for the new, preparing for a fresh start with the coming of spring. Cheongmyeong is one of the 24 seasonal changes, which takes place around April 4 or 5 every year. This is the center of spring when nature comes to life, and in Korea, various events are traditionally held to visit and mourn ancestors' graves and to harmonize with nature. The name Cheongmyeong means clear blue, bright, which symbolizes clear and blue skies in spring. The weather at this time is usually clear and sunny, and it is a season that invigorates both nature and people. On this day, a traditional folk game called Cheongmyeongcho is especially played, which has the meaning of chasing bad luck in hopes of a good harvest. In addition, Cheongmyeong has a culture that values communication with nature, such as collecting herbs from all over the country and appreciating spring flowers. Cheongmyeong is also important as a time to start farming, during which farmers start farming, such as planting rice to wish for a good harvest. Gakwu is the season when the spring rain falls so that the grain grows well. Gakwu means grain-growing rain, which is the sixth of the 24 seasons. It falls on or around April 20th every year, and the rain during this time of year helps crops grow. In grain rain, farmers prepare rice fields and start planting rice. Rain from grain rain soaks dry land throughout the winter, allowing grains such as rice and barley to grow well. In addition, the tea leaves harvested during this period are considered top-notch, as the tea leaves start to sprout. That's why a special tea called Gakwu tea is also made. Gakwu is an important period in Korean agricultural culture, and it shows that changes in nature and people's lives are closely connected. Through the 24 seasons, you can learn the wisdom of understanding the flow of nature and living accordingly. Ipha, one of Korea's seasonal markers, heralds the beginning of summer. It arrives around May 5th or 6th each year, signaling the start of warmer weather. The term Ipha means entering summer. In Korea's agricultural society, this was a crucial period marking the onset of intensive farming activities. Traditionally, Ipha marked the beginning of rice planting, accompanied by various rituals and ceremonies praying for a good harvest. Ipha also brings significant ecological changes. Trees turn lush green, flowers bloom in full glory, and insects become active. These natural transformations signal the start of summer, one of Korea's beautiful four seasons. There are traditional foods to celebrate Ipha, such as mugwort rice cakes, which are enjoyed to wish for health and luck. Additionally, there is a custom of consuming nourishing foods around this time to maintain good health. Seoman, one of Korea's seasonal markers, signifies the period when grains start to fill. It falls around May 21st each year and marks a critical phase in the agricultural calendar. The term Seoman means small full. It represents the time when seeds in the fields begin to swell with life, indicating the growth of crops. This period is crucial for farmers as it affects the quality and quantity of the harvest. During Seoman, the weather becomes noticeably warmer and rainfall increases, providing the ideal conditions for crops to grow. This is also a time when nature flourishes, with trees fully leafing out and flowers blooming abundantly. In traditional Korean culture, Seoman is associated with various agricultural activities. Farmers are busy weeding and tending to their fields to ensure a bountiful harvest. Mangjong, one of Korea's 24 solar terms, marks a crucial period for both sowing seeds and harvesting. It falls around June 5th each year and is vital for agricultural activities. The term Mangjong means grain in ear, indicating that this is the time when grains like barley and wheat are ready to be harvested. It also signifies the last opportunity to plant certain crops before the intense summer heat arrives. During Mangjong, the weather is typically warm and humid, creating ideal conditions for plant growth. Farmers are busy in the fields, both harvesting ripened grains and planting summer crops like rice. This period is marked by intense labor and careful planning to ensure a successful yield. In traditional Korean culture, Mangjong is associated with various customs and rituals. Farmers often perform ceremonies to pray for favorable weather and a bountiful harvest. Additionally, it is a time for community gatherings where people come together to help with the labor-intensive tasks. Haji is one of the 24 solar terms, the day when the sun reaches its highest point in the sky, making it the longest day of the year. This typically falls on June 21st or 22nd. In traditional Korean society, Haji was a crucial time for agriculture. This period marked the growth of rice seedlings and was a busy time for farmers. Various farming-related events and rituals were also held around this time. Even today, Haji plays an important role in understanding Korea's agricultural and cultural heritage. Across Korea, traditional events are held to celebrate Haji, and in rural areas, rituals are performed to pray for a bountiful harvest. Haji is a key to understanding Korea's nature and agricultural culture. Marking the beginning of summer, Haji reminds us of the rhythm and harmony of nature. Seo is one of the 24 solar terms and indicates the period when the heat begins to intensify. This typically falls around July 7th or 8th. In traditional Korean society, Seo marked a critical time for agricultural activities. Farmers would begin preparing for the upcoming harvest season, ensuring that crops were well maintained during the increasing heat. Today, Seo remains significant in understanding Korea's agricultural calendar and cultural practices. During this time, many regions in Korea hold festivals and events celebrating the season and preparing for the hot summer days ahead. Seo is a key aspect of Korea's connection with nature and its agricultural traditions. As midsummer approaches, Seo reminds us of the importance of preparation and resilience in the face of the intensifying heat. Daeseo is one of the 24 solar terms representing the hottest period of the year. It typically falls around July 22nd or 23rd. In traditional Korean society, Daeseo was a crucial time for managing crops. Farmers focused on protecting their fields from the scorching heat and ensuring that water supplies were sufficient for irrigation. Today, Daeseo continues to hold cultural significance in Korea. Many regions host festivals and events to help people stay cool and enjoy the summer despite the intense heat. Traditional practices and rituals are also observed to ensure good health and a bountiful harvest. Daeseo is an essential part of Korea's seasonal and agricultural heritage. As the hottest days of the year arrive, Daeseo reminds us of the importance of adaptation and care in the face of extreme weather. Ipchu is one of the 24 solar terms and signifies the end of summer and the beginning of autumn. This typically falls around August 7th or 8th. In traditional Korean society, Ipchu was a vital time for farmers as it marked the start of the harvest season. Preparations for harvesting crops began in earnest, and farmers hoped for a bountiful yield. Today, Ipchu remains significant in Korea's agricultural calendar. Many regions celebrate with festivals and rituals to welcome the new season and pray for a successful harvest. These celebrations often include traditional music, dance, and food. Ipchu is an essential part of Korea's cultural heritage, symbolizing the transition from summer to autumn. As the harvest season begins, Ipchu reminds us of the importance of preparation and gratitude for the Earth's bounty. Cheoseo is one of the 24 solar terms, indicating the time when the intense summer heat starts to wane. It typically falls around August 23rd or 24th. In traditional Korean society, Cheoseo marked a significant transition for farmers. It was a time to prepare for the upcoming autumn harvest and to protect crops from any late-season storms or pests. Today, Cheoseo remains an important cultural marker in Korea. Many regions hold festivals and events to celebrate the changing seasons and to enjoy the first signs of cooler weather. Traditional rituals are also observed to ensure the well-being of the community and the success of the harvest. Cheoseo is a key part of Korea's seasonal cycle, symbolizing the gradual shift from summer to autumn. As the days begin to cool, Cheoseo reminds us of the importance of adaptation and preparation for the changes ahead. Baekro marks the beginning of autumn in Korea, a time when dew starts to form. It falls around September 7th on the solar calendar and holds significant importance in agricultural society. Baekro, meaning white dew, signifies the period when dew begins to settle on leaves. This period signals the end of the hot summer and the start of autumn, prompting farmers to begin preparing for harvest. During Baekro, temperatures gradually drop, making it a time to observe changes in nature. The climate starts to cool with noticeable temperature differences between day and night, bringing a crisp chill in the mornings and evenings. An old saying related to Baekro goes, "When Baekro passes, even the swallows leave." This means that as Baekro passes, the weather cools and summer birds begin their migration south. Baekro also indicates the onset of stable weather conditions, essential for harvesting crops. Traditionally, agricultural activities were planned around Baekro, making it a crucial period for farmers. Chubun, also known as the autumn equinox, is when day and night are of equal length. Falling around September 23rd, Chubun symbolizes balance in nature and holds significant cultural meaning in Korea. Chubun marks the point when the sun crosses the celestial equator, resulting in equal hours of daylight and darkness. This balance signifies the true start of autumn and the beginning of cooler weather. In agricultural societies, Chubun was a time to prepare for the harvest, as the weather began to cool down. One important tradition during Chubun is Chari, a ritual where families gather to honor their ancestors by preparing and offering food. This practice strengthens family bonds and maintains respect for lineage, playing a crucial role in Korean culture. Traditional foods like songpyeon, half-moon-shaped rice cakes filled with sweet fillings such as sesame seeds or red bean paste, are enjoyed during Chubun. These delicacies are steamed on a bed of pine needles, giving them a unique aroma and flavor. The process of making and sharing songpyeon symbolizes unity and gratitude for the harvest. Hanro, known as cold dew, marks the transition into late autumn, occurring around October 8th. This period signifies the arrival of colder weather and the appearance of dew on the ground. Hanro means cold dew, highlighting the time when temperatures drop significantly, causing dew to freeze overnight. This period indicates the end of the harvest season and the preparation for winter. Farmers use this time to finish harvesting crops and start storing food for the colder months. One important cultural aspect of Hanro is the preparation of traditional foods that can be preserved through the winter. Families often make kimchi during this time, a practice known as kimjang. This communal activity involves gathering with neighbors and family to prepare large quantities of kimchi, which will be stored and consumed throughout the winter. Kimjang not only ensures food security, but also strengthens community bonds. Additionally, Hanro is a time to appreciate the changing landscape. The vibrant autumn foliage reaches its peak, and traditional festivals often celebrate the beauty of the season. People enjoy outdoor activities like hiking and viewing the colorful leaves, making the most of the remaining mild weather. Sangang is one of the 24 solar terms in the traditional Korean calendar. It usually falls around October 23rd and signals the transition from autumn to winter. Historically, this period was crucial for Korean farmers. They prepared for the cold by harvesting crops and preserving food for the winter. The appearance of frost indicated the end of the farming season and the beginning of winter preparations. In traditional Korean culture, Sangang was also a time for various customs and rituals. People would offer food to their ancestors to ensure a bountiful harvest in the next year. It was also believed that the frost had purifying properties, symbolizing a fresh start and cleansing of impurities. Today, while modern agriculture has changed some practices, Sangang remains a significant cultural marker in Korea, reminding people of their deep connection to nature and the changing seasons. So, the next time you see frost forming, remember it's not just a sign of cold weather, but also a reminder of this fascinating Korean tradition. Ipdong, meaning start of winter, is one of the 24 solar terms in the traditional Korean calendar. It usually falls around November 7th and signifies the official onset of winter. Historically, Ipdong was an essential time for Korean farmers. They completed their harvest and began preparing for the cold months ahead. It was also a period to start making kimchi, a process called gimjang, to ensure they had enough preserved food for winter. In traditional Korean culture, Ipdong involved various customs and celebrations. People would hold rituals to pray for health and safety during the winter. It was believed that how you fared on Ipdong would set the tone for the entire winter season. Today, while modern conveniences have changed some practices, Ipdong still holds cultural significance in Korea. It marks a time of reflection, preparation, and appreciation for the changing seasons. Soseol, one of the 24 solar terms in the East Asian lunisolar calendar, usually falls around November 22nd. It marks the transition when the cold air starts to dominate and the landscape begins to freeze. Historically, Korean farmers used Soseol to prepare for the harsh winter months ahead. It was a time for storing crops, reinforcing homes, and making kimchi to ensure food supply during the cold season. The term Soseol translates to small snow, indicating the first light snowfall of the season. It's a time when the natural world starts to quiet down and animals begin hibernation. Interestingly, Soseol also has cultural significance in traditional Korean customs. People would engage in specific rituals and activities, such as making preparations for the upcoming Lunar New Year. In modern times, Soseol is celebrated as a reminder of Korea's rich agricultural heritage and its deep connection to nature's cycles. It's a unique aspect of Korean culture that highlights the importance of harmony with the natural world. Daeseol is one of the 24 solar terms in the traditional Korean calendar, occurring around December 7th. This period signifies the arrival of heavy snowfall and the full onset of winter. Historically, during Daeseol, Koreans anticipated significant snow that would cover the mountains and fields. This snow was crucial for agriculture, as it insulated crops from the harsh cold and provided moisture for the spring thaw. Farmers would ensure that their tools and supplies were ready for winter, and communities would engage in winter preparations and festivities. Daeseol marks the deepening of winter, with temperatures dropping significantly and days becoming shorter. It is a time of year when families come together to stay warm and enjoy seasonal foods. Traditional activities include making hearty dishes like hot soups and stews to combat the cold. Dongji, occurring around December 21st or 22nd, marks the shortest day and longest night of the year. This ancient Korean tradition is rooted in both science and history. In traditional Korean culture, Patjuk is believed to ward off evil spirits. The red color of the beans symbolizes protection and good fortune. Historically, red beans were thought to have mystical properties that could drive away negative energy. Dongji is also a time to welcome the return of longer days and the gradual increase in sunlight. In the past, Koreans would gather as families to share this meal, ensuring unity and prosperity for the coming year. Moreover, the nutritional benefits of red beans are noteworthy. Rich in protein, fiber, and antioxidants, Patjuk provides warmth and sustenance during the cold winter months. Dongji is a beautiful blend of cultural heritage and natural phenomena, illustrating Korea's deep connection with the cycles of nature. Today, many Koreans continue to celebrate this day, enjoying Patjuk and reflecting on the significance of the solstice. Sohan signifies the start of the coldest phase of winter, typically occurring around January 5th or 6th. Despite being called small cold, it often brings biting winds and freezing temperatures. Historically, Koreans observed this period to prepare for the harshest part of winter, ensuring their homes were well insulated and their food supplies stocked. During Sohan, traditional activities include making kimchi and other preserved foods to last through the winter months. Families also engage in rituals to protect themselves from illness and misfortune during the coldest days. The focus is on staying warm, with hot foods like stews and teas playing a central role in daily life. In modern times, while the strict observance of Sohan has lessened, the awareness of seasonal changes remains. Koreans still pay attention to the solar terms, adjusting their diets and activities accordingly to stay healthy and warm. So, as you bundle up this winter, remember the time-honored traditions of Sohan, celebrating the resilience and resourcefulness of Korean culture during the coldest days of the year. Daehan occurs around January 20th and is known for its extreme cold temperatures. Historically, this period was crucial for Korean farmers, who would ensure their crops and livestock were well protected against the freezing weather. The harshness of Daehan also highlighted the importance of community, as families and neighbors supported each other to endure the cold. Traditional customs during Daehan include preparing hearty foods like stews and porridges to keep warm. It's also a time when families gather to reinforce their bonds, sharing stories and meals. The extreme cold is seen as a cleansing period, paving the way for the upcoming Lunar New Year, when a new cycle begins. In modern Korea, while the intense communal activities may have diminished, the essence of Daehan remains. Koreans continue to observe the cold spell, often indulging in hot foods and beverages to stay warm and healthy. It's a period that reminds everyone of the strength and unity needed to get through the toughest times.